Pennsylvania. 3 police officers and 2 teenagers have been indicted on federal charges related to the fatal beating of Luis Ramirez, a Mexican immigrant in the town of Shenandoah. Earlier this year, an all-white jury exonerated the 2 teenagers of the most serious charges for their alleged roles in Ramirez's death. The 2 were part of a group that witnesses say brutally beat Ramirez while yelling racial slurs. On Tuesday, the Justice Department indicted the 2 teens on federal hate crimes charges. Prosecutors also indicted Shenandoah's police chief and 2 officers for obstruction of justice in their investigation into the killing. The 3 police officers are accused of several acts, including writing false reports after hearing information implicating the teenage attackers. One of the accused officers was dating the mother of one of the teen suspects, while another officer's son was a high school football teammate of all those involved.
What's up, everybody? This is Jay the Wanderer with Oakland Latinos Unidos, aka Oakland Latinos United, the voice of the Latino community in the Bay Area, California, YouTube, and beyond. Well, I'm on here with a new video for you to enjoy, and this video I'm about to make is about this man right here and about what happened to him. Basically, this man right here, his name was Luis Ramirez, 25 years old, of Guanajuato, Mexico, and apparently he was savagely, brutally beaten to death by a group of young white kids in the town of Shenandoah, Pennsylvania, in July 12th of 2008, which was last year. Apparently what happened was he had gotten into some kind of altercation with a group of kids, and they basically beat him to death. They jumped him, and he ended up dying of his wounds. Apparently what happened was the guys that did it got arrested, and they got acquitted by an all-white jury. And we'll get to the whole story in a minute. There's been some new twists to the stories also, and I'll get to that also. But the first time I heard about this story was last year. I heard a little bit about it on the news, but there wasn't very much about it in California. And I really heard more about it about a couple months ago when there was a show on TV called Latino in America with Soledad O'Brien on CNN. And they got really deep into this case, and it kind of woke me up and it tripped me out when I heard about it, you know, that something like this could still go down. Apparently what happened was Luis Ramirez was walking down the streets of this town, Shenandoah, Pennsylvania, which is probably some small little hick town in Pennsylvania. Apparently Wikipedia says it has about 6,000, population of 6,000, so that's pretty small. And the majority are white. And it has about maybe 6 or 7% population of Latinos. And I guess it says it has almost no blacks. So, you know, you could pretty much probably tell what kind of town this is. Probably some conservative, Christian, right-wing, Republican town. But basically, he got into an altercation. He was beat to death. And 2 of the main culprits who started hitting him were these 2 guys. This guy right here was one of them. His name was Brandon Piekarski. And the other guy, let me see. The other guy was this guy. His name is Derek Donchak. And they were both from this town, Shenandoah, Pennsylvania. And basically, they're the ones that started this fight. And they're the ones that started kicking him. They kicked him in the head, and then when he was on the ground, they kicked him more and killed him. They were both drunk, from what the story goes. And apparently when the police showed up, some of the witnesses that seen what happened, and they were Mexicans, the witnesses, the police told them that, I guess one of the witnesses said the police were being really rude, and she pointed the direction of where they ran to, and the police told them, well, it's not our priority to go look for them right now. So, fuck, what is that going to tell you? If a cop tells you it's not their priority. But these scumbags are basically the ones that did it. They murdered this young Mexican kid. They basically lynched him in a modern setting. They lynched him, you know. And this is Luis Ramirez with his kids, and I believe this is his wife. And it says here that his wife is named Crystal Dillman. And it was, no, not his wife, it was his fiancée. She's 24 years old, of Shenandoah, Pennsylvania. And apparently she's white. And she was married to this Mexican dude. And from what reports I read, it says that she got a lot of shit from a lot of people in the town for being married to him. You know, she says that people would tell her, oh, you're married to that fucking Mexican, oh, blah, blah, blah. You know, all this racist bullshit. Apparently, when they were beating up Luis Ramirez, they were making racial slurs like saying "you white back, go back to Mexico." And apparently, one of the witnesses who was Mexican, they told him, "Go back to Mexico, or you will lay, or tell your friends to go back to Mexico, or you and they will lay next to him." So what is that going to tell you? It was a racist, racially motivated attack. Apparently, the guys got arrested eventually, and they went to court and they were acquitted of third-degree murder by an all-white jury. And they were just basically given a slap on the wrist. They were given a misdemeanor case of assault, and they were only given like 23 months in jail. Some of them less than that, and probation. So that's basically a slap on the wrist. The sad thing is, I've read a couple of blogs about what happened of this story, and there's a lot of people, stupid fucking racist ignorant people, saying, "Oh well, that fucking Mexican got what he deserved. Oh, those guys were frustrated with illegal immigrants, and they took the law into their own hands." And they were just basically trying to make the story out, that saying that what happened was right. No, motherfuckers, what happened was not right. I don't like Nazis. I don't like racist people. I don't like KKKs. I don't like a lot of right wingers. But, that doesn't, I don't like them. A lot of them get on my fucking nerves, but that doesn't give me the right to go out to a Nazi or to a KKK and just beat them to death simply because I don't like them. Guess what will happen if I did that? I would go to jail. You best believe I'd go to fucking jail. So, just like I would go to jail, these motherfuckers that did this need to go to jail. Apparently there wasn't much in the media about the trial, and it doesn't surprise me. Can you imagine if Luis Ramirez and his friends would have beat to death one of the guys that did this, like Brandon Pekarsky or Derek Donchak? Can you imagine if one of them got beat to death by him and his friends? Oh my God, the media, the right-wingers, Bill O'Reilly, Glenn Beck would be like, "That illegal Mexican, they need to be brought to trial." But because some white dudes killed a Mexican guy, there's no big deal about it. And what message does that send? It basically sends a message that you could kill an illegal Mexican or any Latino or Mexican in this country or person of color and get away with it and get a pat on your back and be made out to be a hero. But these motherfuckers ain't heroes, and they don't deserve to be out in the streets. They did a crime, they need to pay for their fucking crime. They basically lynched this man in a modern setting. He wasn't lynched per se, but he was basically killed like the same style of a lynching in the past, and they were acquitted by an all-white jury. Does this story sound familiar, especially to my African American brothers and sisters out there that listen to my videos? How many times have you heard in the past about whites killing blacks in the South and being acquitted by an all-white jury? So there's no motherfucking difference to this story and to a story you might have heard about something going down in the South back in the days. So as you can see, crimes like this still happen in the U.S. and people still get acquitted for doing them, just like in the past. So we have a lot to work on. These guys basically lynched Luis Ramirez and got a pat on the back and a slap on the wrist. But the story has changed. Something good has came out of it. The FBI has decided to reopen the case because they said there was a police cover-up. And they also felt that, the murder of this young man was bullshit. And they basically, I guess they're going to take it to federal court, and they're going to charge Brandon Pekarsky and Derek Donchak on murder charges and try to get them life in prison. But there's a new twist to the story. The police chief, his name is Matthew Nestor, who apparently has said that this wasn't a hate crime, it wasn't a race-related crime, and he doesn't see how it's a race-related crime. Really, it's not a race-related crime. You mean to tell me a group of young white guys saying, "Fuck you Mexican, fuck you white back," beat him to death is not a hate crime? That would be like a group of white guys beating up a black guy saying, "Fuck you nigger, fuck you, go back to Africa," and beating him to death. And saying, "Oh, that's not a hate crime," even though they said racially motivated bullshit. Give me a fucking break. That goes to show you these cops in this town of Shenandoah are a fucking joke. They're a fucking joke. Basically, Police Chief Matthew Nestor and a few others have been brought up on charges by the FBI of covering up the case and basically obstructing justice and of violating Luis Ramirez of his civil rights, and they're facing charges now too because they covered up and they try to make it look like these kids didn't do nothing wrong. They're fucking good old boys, and you know how it goes. So now, you know, the guys that did this might go to jail for life, and I hope they do. I hope they get fucking prosecuted to the full extent of the law. You know, we should bring these motherfuckers over here to my hood and make them bring their pants down and let the whole neighborhood paddle their stupid asses for they could think about what they did. But that's just my way of looking at it. But anyway, I'm about to run out of time. And just let me know, what do you think about this crime? If you're black, Mexican, Latino, you know, Asian, white, what do you think? Do you think it was right what they did? And do you think these fucking scumbags deserve to get prosecuted to the full extent of the law? Let me know. This is Jay the Wanderer signing out. Late.